Paris FC goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie wins the Best Women's Goalkeeper Award in France. She is a big name, she is a big bird, she is Africa #1 shot stopper. Congratulations to Chiamaka Nadozie as she finished the season 2023-2024 as the best goalkeeper in the French Ligue 1, the women version. With these, I say a fantastic Tuesday morning to you and yours. Welcome to yet another exciting moment on Breakfast Radio, where we're set to take you around the world of sport with no stops whatsoever and make your breakfast time complete. This is the voice of Franklin Imona, the one you know as Fine Boy, the sports chef. I love to serve sports stories hot, juicy, and of course, spicy, straight from the nation's capital and beyond, reaching you live from the studio of Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. On the show this morning, it is a congratulations and encomiums have been poured on the coach of Aimba Football Club, Coach Finidi George, as he has been appointed as the coach for the Super Eagles. We hear that the likes of Emmanuel Amonike Omokachi and others have been shortlisted as the assistant coach for the Super Eagles. And of course, we will be taking you around the world of sport from Lagos right also to the camp of Aimba. Still, we will touch down the world of tennis and most importantly, the world of transfer. We will not forget to let you know that it will be going down later tonight as it is the return of the UEFA Champions League. Bayern Munich up against Real Madrid, the first leg of the first game in the semi-finals. All these and many more loading on the show this morning. Let's go on a breather when we return. Trust me, I will be taking you straight to the newspaper headline preview segment. Don't go nowhere. And first of all, we touch down the Punch Sports Extra as we look at some of the biggest stories making round from this daily. First, as the picture of the new coach for the Super Eagles, Finidi is a solid choice for the Eagles. Ex-internationals back new Eagles coach to take team to the next level. Former Ajax man to name assistant. And this one says, NFF owes me dead coaches. Coach Christian Chuku, yes, saying that the NFF have some backload of salaries both for himself and other coaches that have gone to the world beyond. Still taking more stories from Punch Sports Extra. Red total swap Nunez for Osimhen as Liverpool set to bolster the attack next season. In the UEFA Champions League, Bavarians Los Blancos clash in the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. Liverpool brace for £150 million Salah offer, and we hear that Anthony is unfazed by the £86 million fee criticism. Anthony of Man United. We hear that Sirideses hits back at critics. Chelsea confirm Silva will be leaving the club at the end of the season. City lucky against the fathers, Pep Guardiola speaks. Arsenal fan composes Avert chant. And in the world of boxing, we hear that knockouts galore at Rumbles in the Hood 04. What's that all about? Get your hands on a Punch Sports Extra to find out. And let's move over now to tennis. Rafael Nadal praises Novak Djokovic. And finally, in the world of volleyball, we hear that Nigeria to host Under-19 Volleyball Nations Cup. And with that, we move to a daily Post Sports newspaper to check out the big stories and making round from this daily. This one says NFF offers Finidi George 2 years contract. Finidi must qualify Super Eagles for 2026 World Cup. Work with local players. It seems that those are the ultimatum given to him. Alright, so let's continue from a Daily Post. This one says Ian Shaw indeed clinched championship title with Leicester City following their impressive win yesterday. EPL, we hear that Michael Richards expresses sympathy for Liverpool star. Nadozie wins Best Goalkeeper Award in France. And in the UEFA Champions League, it's going to happen. Tuchel reveals Bayern Munich players that will score against Real Madrid. And in the world of the English Premier League, Gary Neville names 3 signings Chelsea should make to compete for title next season. And Sporting Lagos coach Bifo reveals plans to avoid relegation. And in boxing, Francis Ngannou's 18-month-old son, Kobe, is dead. Ooh. This is really, really hard to swallow. Francis Ngannou's 15-month-old son, Kobe, is dead. Our heart goes out to the family of the Ngannous. Such a lovely boy, so young, 15 months. I'm sure that Francis, the boxer, he will definitely be going through some trying times. We hope that the Lord gives him the fortitude to bear this irreplaceable loss. Alright, so let's continue. More stories from Daily Post. This one says they won't win their last 3 matches. Adebayo predicts title winners, and 11 teams confirm a Champions League spot in 2024-2025 seasons. Alright, and with that we move to Vanguard Sports newspaper, as this one says hat-trick hero Lewandowski fires Barcelona to come back win against Valencia, and at the World Table Tennis contender Lagos 2024 gets new date. A free kick changes Finidi should bring to the Super Eagles. And more from Vanguard, we hear that Premier League clubs vote to introduce spending caps. In the world of the Premier League still, that is the English Premier League, Ake confident Man City can beat Arsenal in title race, and Thiago Silva to leave Chelsea at end of the season. In boxing, Mike Tyson to fight Jake Paul in heavyweight bout. And just like I did tell you earlier, tragedy as a UFC star Francis Ngannou loses 15-month old son. And finally, from Vanguard newspaper, Paris Saint-Germain crown Ligue 1 champions for record 12 times. And the last newspaper we will be looking at for you this morning is coming all the way from Complete Sport. And Complete Sporting Live, I beg your pardon. And Sporting Live has this for us. NFF appoints Finidi George as Super Eagles head coach, and Saka admits relief after victory at Tottenham Hotspur. Fight to finish. Ogumodede says NPFL title race will go down the wire, and Liverpool expects Salah to stay this summer. Arsenal unstoppable, says Mikel Arteta. How? Time will tell. All-female team referee Syria a match for first time. We hear that doubt persists over Afghanistan's participation at Paris 2024, and Qatar set to submit bid for 2036 Olympics. Ukraine takes men gold, and we hear that Great Britain top medals table with 8 gold. And Africa CEO Forum welcomes Rugby Africa president. And countries struggle to beat countries struggle to host Olympic Games. Kane and Bellingham set for Champions League showdown. And finally, from Sporting Live, United Arab Emirates extends lead at inaugural Gulf Youth Games. And with these, we move straight to the local scene. Alright, let's begin with this story that is no longer news as the Board of Nigerian Football Federation on Monday approved the recommendation of its Technical and Developmental Committee to appoint former ace winger Finidi George as the head coach of the senior men's national team, the Super Eagles. Finidi George, who spent 20 months as assistant to Jose Santos Pesaro before the Portuguese voluntary left the post following the accomplishment of the African Cup of Nations runner-up position at Cote d'Ivoire. 2023, he took charge of the squad on interim basis during 2 friendly matches in Morocco last month. His squad edged Ghana by 2-1 in the first match, ending an 18 years winless streak against the Black Stars, but then lost 2-0 to Mali in the second game. Finidi, a member of the Soul-style golden generation that won the 1994 African Cup of Nations tournament in Tunisia and emerged the second most entertaining team in Nigeria's debut at the FIFA World Cup Finals in USA. That same year, he won 62 caps for Nigeria, including featuring at the 1994 and 1998 FIFA World Cup Finals. He also won gold, silver, and bronze medals from 1992, 1994, 2000, and 2002 African Cup of Nations tournament. The 52-year-old former IS Amsterdam, the Real Betis forward, who made a scoring debut for his fatherland in an African Cup of Nations qualifying match against Burkina Faso at the National Stadium, Lagos, on the 27th of July, 1991. He also featured for Calabar Rogers and Sharks FC in a domestic scene before heading to Europe. He assisted Rashidi Yekini of blessed memory to score Nigeria's first ever FIFA World Cup goal against Bulgaria in Dallas, USA on the 19th of June 1994. Currently, he is the coach of MPFL side Eyimba FC, who sits second on the table. Finidi George have been tasked with the responsibility to qualify the Super Eagles for the 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament, as well as do well in the African Cup of Nations. We also hear that the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, has shortlisted 3 coaches for the Super Eagles assistant coaching role. The coaches are Emmanuel Amunike, Daniel Omokachi, and Michael Nsien. The NFF confirmed Finidi appointment as a Super Eagles coach yesterday. I did say that earlier, and Amunike, who was one of the front runners for the head coach job, once worked as assistant to Samson Siasia and coach Austin Eguavo. The former forward, talking about Daniel Omokachi, also once worked as an assistant in the national team. The 52-year-old has assisted the late coaches like Shuaibu Ahmadu, Stephen Keshi, and Chen, a former under-23 Eagles defender, is currently the head coach of a United States of America under-19 national team. I will keep our fingers crossed as well as our lips are sealed on the assistant coach position, as NFF have been saddled with the directive to make that appointment known as soon as possible. Alright, with that, we move over now to one Super Falcons player who have painted a name in gold. Chiamaka Nnadozie, Super Falcons of Nigerians' first choice goalkeeper, has been voted the season best goalkeeper in the French Ligue 1 Feminine League. The 23-year-old was announced the award winner on Monday night. She received the individual accolade following a stellar season in which she garnered a reputation as a penalty expert, saving 7 spot kicks in the league and Champions League, the highest in Europe this season, including the male version. Her penalties are saving heroics saw her lead Paris FC to shootout wins over giant Arsenal and Wolfsburg in the Women's Champions League. She also guided the Paris-based club to the semi-final stage of the competition, where they were knocked out by rivals Olympique Lyonnais. All right, so let's move over now from that topic and touch down at Lagos State as we hear that Lagos State have been given the hosting right to go ahead to host the World Table Tennis Championship. The championship will be going down from the 17th of June to the 23rd of June 2024 in the southwest part of Nigeria. The Nigerian city will host the first of 3 WTT events scheduled to take place in Africa this year, and it will be the second edition of the event in Lagos. Event director of the World Table Tennis Contender Lagos, Dr. Kweku Tando, believes that Lagos' impressive hosting of the 2023 edition earned the city another shot to host the best table tennis players in the world. And away from that, let's go over now to the politics of football. Former Nigerian Football Federation President Amaju Melvin Pinnick has requested the federal government's support as the tenure of his first tenure as member of the FIFA Council comes to an end and wishes to retain his seat in the next election that will be going down in May 2024. The two times NFF president through the federation wrote to the Honorable Minister of Sport, Senator John Onwa Eno, seeking federal government support in his quest to retain the seat at the FIFA Council. The later League 2 report dated 4th April 2024 entitled Request for Federal Government Support for Amaju Melvin Pinnick Quest to retain a seat as FIFA Council members. And then you ask, while he was there in the first tenure, what was his antecedent? What did he do? What did Nigeria and Nigerians benefited from him being a council member? Was it just to answer the name that he was there, or there was something positive for us to achieve or enjoy while he was there? You know the answer. Before we jet out from the local scene, let's touch down the camp of Fenerbahce, Cameroon, as we hear that it is not looking good at all for Cameroon football. Following the in-resolving dispute going on between the president of Fenerbahce, Samuel Eto'o, and the sport ministry, the World Soccer ruling body is prepared to throw Cameroon out of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The president of the federation is not satisfied with the appointment of Mark Breeze as the coach of the national team and is threatening to block his resumption. According to the update from Cameroon, the former Barcelona striker is likely to refuse to send invites to players for the upcoming qualifiers. Cameroon will face Cape Verde and Angola in round 3 and round 4 of the qualifiers. Now, this is what Samuel Eto'o said. He said, the coach Mark Breeze is working. Is on you. He will establish his list of players and it will be sent to the federation, and I can promise you that it will send it to the appropriate person. I do not see Fenerbahce taking on the heavy responsibility of having Cameroon eliminated because it will not have sent invite to players. Even at Fenerbahce, we can have the difference, but the national interest must take precedence. The technical advisor told the sport minister is also in view of this. It is just clash of ego and pride as FIFA has constantly speak against politics interfering with football. Cameroon has until now, till the next FIFA World Cup to resolve these, ends they will not be playing in the qualifiers. Let's move to the foreign scene. Alright, from the foreign scene, and let's touch down the world of the Unified Fighting Championship. As this news, it is heartbreaking indeed. Kobe, the 15-month-old son of former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou, is dead. Francis Ngannou requested why life is unfair. What's the purpose of life if what we are fighting tooth and nail to get away from is what finally hits us the hardest? Ngannou posted on his ex handle asking this question. Ngannou also posted a message on Instagram, too soon to leave, but yet he's gone. My little boy, my mate, my partner, Kobe, was full of life and joy. Now he's lying without life. I shouted his name over and over again, but he's not responding. I wish I can understand what this what heavyweight boxer is going through. Indeed, he is a fighter, but he could not save his son as his son passed away yesterday. Indeed, it is heartbreaking. You needed to see Ngannou. He broke down crying. And we hope that the Lord gives him the fortitude to bear this irreplaceable loss. Losing one's son at this time of life is really, really painful. Indeed, we continue to track this news. And away from Francis Ngannou's son's death, let's touch down the game that went down yesterday as Robert Lewandowski hits a second half hat-trick to power Barcelona to an entertaining 4-2 win over 10-man Valencia on Monday in La Liga. The champions' victory denied the leaders Real Madrid the chance to take the crown by simply beating Cadiz next Saturday. The Los Blancos had 11 points cleared with 5 matches remaining. Alright, with that, let's go to the big one that will be going down later tonight. It is all about the UEFA Champions League. Bayern Munich coach Thomas Tuchel believe that forward Serge Gnabry will score against Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League semi-final clash. Tuchel's side will host Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-final first leg on Tuesday today, and the Bundesliga giants had booked their place in the last 4 after eliminating Arsenal from the quarterfinal. Speaking to the press ahead of the first leg clash, Tuchel predicted which of his players would score against the La Liga side. The former Chelsea coach said Serge Gnabry is going to make it happen. It's all about Jude Bellingham and Serge Gnabry. It's all about Vinicius Jr. and a certain Harry Kane. And I can tell you for a fact, it is all about Alphonso Davies and Dani Carvajal. More news from the foreign scene, but this time let's quickly touch down the world of transfer as exciting news is hitting all up our stereo. We hear that Mason Greenwood has interest in joining Juventus this season, and Man United are willing to sell the forward for 25 to 30 million euros. We also hear that both Antonio Conte and Stefano Pioli are interested in a move to Napoli. Contact have taken place with both manager, but we will wait until the end of the season to know what Napoli thinks. Arsenal are unlikely to extend Jorginho's contract at the club, and the midfielder is interested in a Juventus move. More news from the world of transfer. San Diego FC are in advanced talk to sign Irving Lozano after LA Galaxy showing interest in October, and Saudi club are also keen on these player. Conversation are concrete around $12 million fee. We hear the final decision will be made very, very soon. More in the world of transfer. Saudi deal makers optimistic on Rafael Varane. Al Ittihad and Al Nassr have both shown interest. Al Nassr still also tracking Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, another Saudi target. We also hear that Al Ahly want to watch. Manchester United have made it clear to the Saudis that multiple players are also available for sale. And finally, in the world of transfer, Xavi Simeone's move to Chelsea is possible as contacts made. But the club Chelsea, they are not alone, as Arsenal have also showed interest. Simeone is one of the big names to keep an eye on this summer. And finally, on the show, in the world of basketball. Actions went down in the NBA as the likes of Miami Heat had to level their tie following an impressive victory. But it was a certain Kevin Durant who showed applaud for his favorite player in the Timberwolves as Edwards showed class. We also hear that the former number one picks revealed huge compliments from two-time NBA champion and a member of the league's 75th anniversary team, Kevin Durant, after their Western Conference playoffs first round series came to an end on Sunday night. Edwards, who scored 40 points, grabbed 9 rebounds, dished out 6 assists, got 2 blocks, and a shot of 7 out of 13 from the 3-point mark to lead the Minnesota Timberwolves to their first playoff series with 20 years. After 20 years, I beg your pardon, as they swept Durant and the Sun 122 to 116 at Footprint Center in Game 4 of their playoff series. Join us later today at 4 p.m. as we will be bringing you more news from the NBA as well as what's going down in the Stuttgart Open in tennis. And also we will be looking at the Champions League fully in the 4 p.m. hour. Until then, keep listening to a Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Up next is the news around Abuja. From me to you, I'm done and I'm gone. God bless, no stress. Adios.